Hello everyone. I hope you all are fine. Today we are conducting a webinar on advanced configuration of vouchers. This is very useful for creating vouchers. So please listen carefully the session and practice this feature after the webinar. Practice is must because without practice you cannot learn any feature of busy accounting software. So please practice the feature after the webinar. Today we are starting the webinar on advanced configuration of voucher. If you have any queries related to today's webinar, you can ask me at end of the session. In between the session, please do not ask any queries. I will resolve your all the queries at end of the session. So now we are starting the webinar, advanced configuration of voucher. So first of all, what is voucher? The definition is what is voucher is voucher is a document which contain the details of a financial transaction, and we need it to record the transaction in the books of account. So in the business, you know that we record the transaction, the financial transaction in books of account. So for the recording transaction, we need vouchers. And in the vouchers, we can record any type of financial transaction, like we are buying material from any vendor, we are selling material to any customer, etc. We sending payment, we receiving money. So we can record any financial transaction in the voucher. For record transaction, we have to create a voucher for recording. After recording our financial transaction in the voucher, our report will update and we can check the exact situation of the business. So the first rule of accounting is you have to record the transaction, then you can check the exact situation of a business. You can check correct reports like financial reports, financial statement, balance sheet, profit and loss. So all the reports you can check after the transaction. First, you have to record the data. So for recording, you have to create a vouchers. Next is, what is voucher series? So voucher series is an entry system for each transaction. We can use the appropriate series to enter the transaction detail and update the financial position of the company. So in busy accounting software, we have multiple vouchers to record the transaction like sale, purchase, payment, receipt, etc. When we create a company in the busy software, by default, a series is created automatically. By default, series name is main. So at the time of company creation, a series created automatically called main. If you want to create multiple series, you can add also. Let me give you an example. Suppose I have two branches, one in Delhi and one in Uttar Pradesh, in Noida. So in this case, in this scenario, we can create two different branch series, different voucher series for all the vouchers. Also, we can filter the report by the selection of any voucher series branch, any voucher series. We can filter all the reports on branch basis by the branch filtration. We can see the status of branches, and we have separate voucher for each branch. We have separate voucher series for each branch. So we can filter any report by branch voucher series. So we can create multiple series also. By default, at the time of company creation, a series created automatically. Name is main. So next is type of vouchers. So in the busy accounting software, we have 5 type of vouchers. I'll explain you one by one. First is accounting plus inventory voucher. Accounting plus inventory voucher. That is voucher that affect accounting plus inventory both. Okay. So which voucher acting accounting plus inventory both? That is accounting plus inventory vouchers. Like sale, purchase, sale return, purchase return. You know that if you enter any purchase, any sale voucher, both accounting and inventory will affect, because if you add a purchase transaction, then inventory will increase and your money will decrease. Same in sales also. When you create a sales voucher, inventory will decrease and your currency balance, your money balance will increase. So this is accounting plus inventory voucher. Next is pure accounting voucher. So number second is pure accounting voucher. Pure accounting voucher means voucher that affect accounting only. Okay, these voucher will not affect inventory, like payment receipt journal contra. You know that if you are doing payment to someone, if you are receiving money to from someone, then only cash balance can increase or decrease. Okay, and stock will not affect. Item stock balance will not affect. So payment receipt, debit note, credit note, contra voucher, these vouchers belongs to pure inventory voucher. Next, pure inventory voucher. So pure inventory voucher means vouchers that affect inventory only. From this voucher will not affect the accounting, like material issue to party, material received from party, stock transfer between godowns. So from these voucher, you know that only account will not affect, only inventory will affect. If you issuing material to someone, then only stock will decrease. Okay, inventory will decrease, but not affect on account. Next, quotation and order vouchers. So quotation and order voucher, you know, quotation for quotation transaction and order for order transaction. And the last is salary calculation voucher. So in this voucher salary calculation, you can create the salary transaction, like salary management transaction, like payroll transaction. So these are the voucher types in busy accounting software. We have 5 type of vouchers: accounting plus inventory, pure accounting, pure inventory, quotation and orders, and salary calculation voucher. From quotation and order vouchers on inventory and accounting, both will not affect. Okay, you know that. Next, benefit of voucher series is, so first benefit is, in the voucher series configuration, we can configure some feature. There are the features. First is voucher numbering. We can configure the voucher numbering as per our requirement, like voucher number should be generated automatically, or we can enter the number manually at the time of voucher creation, and we can configure not required also. Okay, so we can configure automatically, manually, and not required. 3 options are there. For voucher numbering, we can configure as per our need, as per our requirement at the time of voucher creation. Next point is option field for extra information. So if you want to feed the extra information in the transaction, you can enable the option field options. Okay, so we can configure the option field in the voucher series configuration for extra information details in the transaction. Okay, if you want to enter the extra information, then you can enable this option field in the voucher series. And when you create a voucher, you can enter the extra detail. You can enter the extra information for the transaction. The next point is discount, markup, and description of item. So if you want to maintain discount on item, markup on item, and that item description, then you can enable these options in voucher series configuration. After enabling the option like discount, markup, and description option, you can enter the details at the time of transaction. Like if you want to give discount to customer, you can enter at item level. If you want to charge any markup like transportation charge, making charge, you can maintain markup. And if you want to enter any other details of item related like item descriptions, you can enable the option in voucher series configuration. And when you create a voucher, then this particular window will come for discount, markup, and item description. You can specify the details. The next point is separate billing details. So if you are adding a sales, then you have to select a customer, you know that. Okay, at the time of transaction, if you creating a sale voucher, then you have to select the customer, you have to select to party. If you are running the retail store and you are selling like your brand outlet and your department store, you know that in this case you are selling on cash basis or credit basis, or not a credit basis, because in department store, when you create a bill, Mostly all of the sales are related to cash, not in credit. Okay, so you do not want to maintain the party account for the particular customer, for each customer. So you can enable this feature, separate billing details. And after enabling this feature in voucher series configuration, you can maintain the customer name for printing purpose. So if you want to maintain only customer name detail, customer address, other customer details for printing, so you can enable this feature. After enabling in voucher series configuration, the separate billing details feature, you can specify the details for billed customer and you can print in sales invoice. So this is very useful. Next is default date in voucher as. So you can you are adding a voucher, then by default which date should be come automatically, like current date or a last voucher date. You can select, you have two options in this field, current date or last voucher date. You can select as per your need. When you add a bill, then by default which date will pick automatically. Okay, the current date and last voucher date. So you can configure in voucher series configuration, and at the time of transaction, field will pick automatically, date will pick automatically. Next option is filter value for party and drop down list. So you are adding a voucher like sale purchase, and you can apply the filter on party and item drop down list. So only selected group parties and party master and item master will come in drop down list, and you can select the master at the time of transaction. You can filter the value in voucher series configuration. The next point is input transport detail. So to maintain the input transport detail in the transaction, you can enable this option. After enabling this option in the voucher series configuration, when you create a bill, when you create a voucher, when you create a sales voucher or purchase voucher, input transport detail window appears, and you can specify the details in this window. Next option is print email, SMS, WhatsApp, and other activities also. So if you want, after saving the voucher, invoice will print automatically, email will send to customer automatically, SMS also send to customer automatically, and voucher upload on BDAP or Google Drive automatically. So you can enable these options. Okay, these options are available in voucher series configuration. You can enable these options as per your need. If you want to send invoice on WhatsApp, SMS, or email to customer after saving the voucher, you can enable the option. You can enable the print option also. You can enable the upload option also. These all options are available in the voucher series configuration. You can enable as per your need. Next is settlement details. So you can configure the settlement details, settlement modes for payment and receipt in sales and purchase voucher. Like at the time of sales voucher, you receiving the amount through which mode, cash or bank. So you can configure 5 type of modes in the settlement details in the voucher series configuration. And when you create a bill, the settlement detail window will appear, and you can enter the details. You are receiving the money from the customer in which mode, through cash, through bank, through UPI, through card. You can configure all the details. I will show you in the practical session also. POS configuration. So POS stand for point of sale, POS. The short form is POS, and the full form of POS is point of sale. Point of sale we can configure for fast billing. So in point of sale, you can configure the field as variable, as semi variable, as fixed also. So we will show you in practical session also how can you configure the point of sale configuration. This is very useful option for branded outlet, for retail outlet. Okay, so you can configure this point of sale for fast billing. Next is creation of voucher series. So in this image, you can see there are multiple vouchers in busy accounting software. And if you want to need any configuration of voucher series, you have to go in administration, configuration, voucher series configuration, and this screen appears. And You can configure the voucher series configuration as per your need. You can see this is the window for voucher series configuration. In this screen, you can see the multiple options are there, multiple buttons are there. So these all are operational buttons. So operation buttons. First is add, modify, delete series. So if you want to add a series, you can click on add. If you want to modify the series name, so you can modify. If you want to delete the series, you can select the series and delete. Next is voucher numbering. So click on this button to configure a voucher numbering of the series. Third is voucher configuration. So for voucher configuration, click on this button and multiple options will appear in the voucher series configuration window, and you can enable as per your need. Option field printing. So click on this button to enable option field for printing in invoice, in sales invoice. Next button is master control. So in this button, you have multiple options for master control. After clicking on the button, a window appear and you can restrict the master selection for the transaction in the voucher. Like if you want to restrict the selection of any account, you can restrict the account master or account master group. Then you cannot select the master at the time of transaction. So you can configure the master control through master control button. Next is multiple series creation. Through this option, you can add multiple series in bulk in the voucher. And next is voucher series group management. Through this option, you can create the group of voucher series and tag the branches or user. After tagging, only tagged user can create the voucher in the particular series, in the selected tagged particular series. So you can configure, you can maintain the voucher series group management. This option is very useful for branching, and you can filter the report on voucher series group management. I will show you in practical session also. The next is bulk voucher numbering. So through this option, you can configure the voucher numbering in bulk for all the vouchers. Next is voucher series configuration order. So, okay, so this is the voucher series configuration for order voucher. Order and quotation, this screen is similar, and all the options are similar for voucher series configuration for order voucher, for quotation voucher. Next is, this is the voucher series configuration for accounting plus inventory voucher. So multiple options are there, and you can enable the option as per your need. And this is the voucher series configuration for pure accounting voucher. Okay, there are some limited options in pure accounting vouchers, and you can enable these options as per your need. We will explain in practical session also. Next, this is the screen for voucher series configuration, pure inventory voucher. For pure inventory voucher, like material issue to party, material receive from party, stock transfer. So multiple options are there, and you can enable these options as per your need. And the last is salary calculation voucher. So this is screen is belongs to voucher series configuration, salary management, salary calculation. So there are some options, and I will show you in practical session. I will explain you the one by one all the options in practical session. Next slide is POS configuration. So POS stand for point of sale. You know that POS stand for point of sale. Point of sale means fast billing. So we can configure the point of sale for fast billing and fast creation of transaction. This feature is very useful for department store, retail store, and branded product outlet also. After the POS configuration, you have some, you have to select some required field. Only other repeated field will pick automatically. So you can select the transaction field as fixed, as variable, and as semi-variable. For POS configuration, there are multiple portions. The first portion is header configuration. In the header part, header field, you can configure like voucher date, party date, voucher date as fixed or as a semi-variable, as variable. You can select the field. Okay. In the header portion, next is body portion, body configuration. So in the body part, you can select the required option in the field which is belongs to body. Next is bill sundry configuration. In the bill sundry part, you can configure the required bill sundry in the transaction for the transaction in the voucher series, and bill sundry will pick automatically in point of sale voucher. Next is specify settlement mode. So you can configure the settlement mode for payment and receipt in the voucher, sales and purchase voucher. Like at the time of sales voucher, you receiving the payment, receiving the amount, through which mode you can configure, through bank or through cash. Next is input cash standard details. So you can enable this option for cash to be returned at the time of cash receiving. Okay, so I'll show you in the practical session also. Next option is connect with poll display. So through this option, you can connect busy with poll display for customer viewing. And the last option is set grid column width. So through this option, you can increase or decrease the width of the column heading in point of sale voucher. Now see, this is the point of sale voucher series configuration. You can see me on my screen. This is the screen for point of sale configuration. There are multiple options and you can select the required option in the field. See, this is the transaction voucher of point of sale. This is the screen for, this is the display of point of sale, and you can create the transaction very fastly through this voucher, through point of sale voucher. Now I will show you the implementation of voucher series practically. Let me open the busy software from the desktop. Software is open. Now I'm opening company. So this is my company, and for voucher series configuration, you have to go in administration, configuration, select voucher series configuration. Now this is the window for. Please ask me your query at end of the session. In between, please do not ask any queries. So this is the screen. You can see how can you go in voucher series configuration. So you have to follow some steps. You have to click on administration, configuration, and see the second option is voucher series configuration. Enter on this option. This screen appears and you can configure the voucher series configuration in this window. Through this window, there are multiple vouchers. You can see sales, purchase, sale return, purchase return, payment, receipt, journal, contract, debit note, credit note, stock transfer, stock journal, material issue, and material receipt. So sale, purchase, sale return, and purchase return. These four vouchers belongs to accounting plus inventory voucher, because from these voucher, accounting and inventory both will affect. Okay, if you create a sale voucher, then your stock will decrease and your accounting will also affect. Next, payment, receipt, general, contra, debit, and credit note. So these vouchers belongs to pure accounting voucher, because from these voucher only accounting will affect, inventory will not affect. And last is stock transfer, stock journal, material issue, material receipt. These vouchers belongs to pure inventory voucher, because from these voucher only inventory will affect. Okay, from these voucher accounting will not affect. So select the voucher first, click on double click on voucher. Now see, this is the by default series. Okay, this main series will create automatically as by default at the time of company creation. And if you want to add a series, add a new series, you can select the voucher, click on add new, and you can create the series like counter A C. Okay, so now we have two series in sales voucher. One is main, one is counter A. Next option is modify series. So if you want to modify the series name, you can click on modify series, the second option. After clicking on this option, this window appears and you can modify, you can edit the name, you can change the name here. So like counter 2, counter B. Now see, so we have two series, counter A and counter B. So we can create multiple series in busy accounting software, and we can filter the report on series level also. So we can create multiple series. And how can we add? First, we have to select the voucher, click on add new, and enter the name, specify the name of series, and save. Your series will create. Next option for modify. Okay, so if you want to change the name of series, you can click on modify series and edit the name, change the name, and save. The next option is delete series. So third option is delete series. Click this button to delete an existing voucher series. You need to select a voucher series first. Like I want to delete the counter B series, select the series and click on this button, delete series. Now your series, and this is predefined. So predefined series we cannot delete. See, so we can add this series like this, we can modify and we can delete. These are the steps. Next is, let me change the name, is main. Okay, by default. Next option for quit. So for go back, you have to click on quit. Now enter again. See, so these are the four options: add new, modify series, delete series, and quit. Next button is voucher numbering. So click this button to configure voucher numbering for a voucher series. This button is active when you select the voucher series. In the left pane for the voucher series window, you can see on clicking this button, voucher numbering. After clicking this button, a voucher numbering window appears in which there is a data field numbering type, and you can configure the voucher numbering as per your requirement. So first field is numbering type. So in this field, you can see three options are there: automatically, manually, not required. So you want the voucher numbering in which type? Okay, automatic, manual, not required. Suppose you select not required, then voucher number field will hide at the time of transaction. You don't need to maintain, you can select this option. Second is, first option is automatic. Okay, so for automatic, select the automatic. Now you can configure the format here. Okay, so first option is renumbering frequency. You can select the renumbering frequency: date, monthly, yearly. Embedded year in voucher numbering as suffix as prefix, you can select here. Date separator, voucher numbering separators, and format, and the prefix you can mention here. Starting number, what is the starting number of voucher numbering? Ending number, if you want to specify, you can specify y and you can specify the number. Next, maintain book number. So if you want to maintain the book number parallel with voucher numbering, you can specify y, and book size you can enter. Okay, and if you want to fix the length, you can enter the option, enable the option, and mention the character. You can mention maximum 9 character. Okay, so you can configure the voucher numbering like this. After this, save the setting, and after saving, this window appear for renumbering voucher. You can read this message: renumbering all vouchers for the series main voucher series type. This process may disturb your existing voucher series numbering. So if you want to regenerate the voucher numbering of your existing voucher, then you have to click yes. and otherwise you can click on N. Next option is voucher configuration. So in the voucher configuration button, you can configure the voucher series configuration. You have multiple options are there. Click on this button, voucher configuration. Now, so this is a window for voucher series configuration, and multiple options are there. You can see the first option is number of optional field. So if you want to maintain the extra information of the transaction, you can enable the number of option field. Maximum 20 fields you can maintain. So for maintaining the option field in the transaction, you can enter the number here. So how many option field you want to maintain, you can specify like 2 or 1. Let me enter 1. After specifying the characters, this window appear for voucher optional field configuration, and in this window we can configure the heading, the title of optional field. The first is field name. So enter the name of option field in this data field like LPO number. Okay, LPO number. Type, you can select the type of this optional field, text, as numeric, as date, as yes or no. And if you select text, then you can maintain the drop down list also. So if you want to maintain the drop down list of this particular option field, you can specify Y. Okay, next is LPO date. So you can select numeric, data, date, yes or no, as text. So you can select the option, you can select the type as per your need, like date. The first is like number. Okay, so if you select number, then you can maintain the decimal places also. So how many characters you want to maintain, you can specify here. We select text and save. Now we have two option fields, and we can specify the details for extra information in the option field. Next field is for add fields with items. So specify Y in this data field if you want to maintain additional field to appear when you enter the item name in the voucher. If you specify Y in this data field, okay, then this name option gets active, and you can enter the title here. You can specify the caption here like color. Next option, item wise description. So specify Y in this data field. Okay, after enabling the item wise description data field, this window appears, a configure button appear, click on configure, this window appears, and you can configure the number of descriptions lines. So maximum 20 lines you can maintain for item description. By default, 4 lines will come automatically, and you can specify the titles here, line 1, line 2, and you can change the name also and click on save. Next option is item wise discount. So if you want to enable, okay, if you want to enable the discount, if you want to maintain the discount on item basis, then you can enable this option. For enabling, you have to specify Y. After specify Y, this option is enabled now. After enabling this option, specify discount structure option gets active, and you can select the discount structure. Okay, so you want to maintain the discount structure on price basis, on alternate quantity basis, on main quantity basis, on packing quantity basis, and absolute amount, you can select the structure. Next is item wise markup. Do you have any queries? You can ask me at end of the session. Please not ask any queries now. I will resolve your all the queries at end of the session. First, you have to listen the session carefully. Okay, so please watch the session properly. The next option is item wise markup. So if you want to maintain the item wise markup, you can enable this option, specify y for enabling. After enabling, specify markup structure button gets active, and you can select the discount. You can select the markup structure here. The next option is separate billing shipping detail. So specify y in this option. If you want to maintain the separate billing detail, separate party bill detail in the sales invoice, in the purchase invoice, you can maintain the customer information for printing purpose. You can enable this option. So after enabling, the multiple option gets active, applicable for all parties or only cash and bank. So you can select as per your need. Next, the specify key field. So which is the key field you can specify, you can select here, mobile number, email ID, and party name. And the next is GST report basis. For GST report, you can select the options, the basis, ask in voucher as per the party master, and billing shipping detail. Okay, so this is very useful. GST, this option is very useful for GST reporting also. The next option is input item MRP. So if you want to enter, if you want to input the item MRP in the transaction, you can enable this option, specify y. After this, skip item quantity price, unit price. If you want to skip, suppose if you are running a shop and your business is based on service, your item is related to service, then you no need to maintain quantity and unit and price. Okay, so you can skip these three columns and specify by if you want to require this option. Item sorting, you can sort the item after saving. So select the option for sorting, and set voucher date, default date in voucher as. So you can select the option as per your need, as per your requirement. But what date will pick automatically, last voucher date or system date. Okay, so if you select system date will pick automatically at the time of voucher creation. Okay, and if you select last voucher date, so last voucher date will pick. This is for zero value validation. Specify y for enabling. After enabling, a configure button appear, and click on configure button. This window appear for zero validation. So you can configure the zero validation like item level validation, disallow or allow. You can configure, you can select the option. First is disallow zero item main quantity. Second is disallow item main price. So if you select the option, then you can not save the voucher with zero value. Okay, so this is the zero validation. Next option is filter value for party drop down and filter value for item drop down. So if you want to filter the value on party master, on item master, so you can enable this option, and you have to specify the group like sundry debtor, sundry creditor, or area name. Then only selected group master will come in drop down list, and you can pick in the transaction from only from the drop down list. And this is for item. The next option for prompt to copy. If you want to copy the voucher after saving, you can specify y and select the voucher. If you want to copy the voucher information in another voucher. Okay, so prompt will come and you can copy the voucher. Next option is for input transport detail. So if you want to enter the information of transport detail, you can enable this option, enable this data field, and this option enabled as by default at the time of company creation. If you do want to maintain, you can disable this option. Next is auto round off of final amount. If you want to auto round off final amount, you can enable this option. After enabling, a configure button appear, and click on configure button. Now you can configure the auto round off setting. So final bill, final amount of bill, final amount of voucher. What is the rounding off mode? So always upper, always lower, automatic. You can select the option and select the bill sundry for upper round off like this, and for lower round off you can select round off minus. Okay, and rounding off nearest to numeric 1. The last option is ask before adding round off of bill sundry. So if you enable this option, then prompt will come for auto round off, and if you click on yes, then the final value will round off automatically. Next option is print account voucher after saving. So if you want to print the account voucher, uh, if you want to print the account voucher after voucher saving, you can enable this option. After enabling, a configure button appear. Click on configure button. You can select the format as default. Okay, it's like you want to select, you want to print the voucher in advanced format, in standard format, you can select the format. Next is prompt to printing after saving. So if you want to enable this option, then after enabling this option, if you create a voucher, prompt will come for printing. When you click save, when you click yes, then voucher will print. And show print option, so printing option will show if you enable this option. And if you want to print the multiple copies, you can enable this option and specify the number of copies here. Okay, last is can copy number if you want to print. Okay, so this is the option for account voucher printing. Next, inventory voucher after saving. So if you want to print the inventory voucher print after saving of transaction, you can enable this option, and other options are same as like printing accounting voucher. Next option for print sales invoice after saving. So if you want to print the sales invoice after voucher saving, you can enable this option. This option is enabled by default at the time of company creation, and you can disable also. For disabling, you can specify N. For enabling, you can specify Y. After enabling, a configure button appears. Click on configure button. There are multiple options. You can print in 4 format. So maximum 4 formats you can print. By default, 1 is come. Okay. And you can select the configuration. You can select the option for format 1. So in format 1, invoice will print in which format. You can select the format here. In the standard, in advanced, you can select the format. So cursor will pick automatically at the selected option, and other options are same like account voucher printing and inventory voucher printing. Next option for print item barcode after saving. So if you want to print the barcode after voucher saving, you can enable this option, and after enabling, you have to select the format. Okay, and you can print the barcode after transaction saving. I will show you in detail in at the time of voucher transaction also. So please listen carefully these options. Okay, next is send SMS after saving. Okay, so if you want to send SMS automatically after saving of transaction, you can enable this option. After enabling, a configure button or all the options are same like printing, and you can select the options. Next is send email after saving. So if you want to send the email of invoice after voucher saving, after transaction saving, you can specify Y in this option. For enabling, a configure button appear, and the other options are same. You can select the format and prompt. If you want to see the prompt, show email options, and send to party also, send to self also. You can send on BNS app also. So enter the mobile number of your BNS registered BNS app, and this invoice will send after saving on your email on your BNS app also. Okay, so next is enable settlement detail. So for settlement detail, you can enable this option. After enabling a configure button appear, click on configure. Now this is the window for voucher settlement configuration. You can maintain maximum 5 mode of settlement. First is cash. So enable this option. Okay, cash. Select your cash account here. Next, caption. So what is the name of this? You can maintain cash. Next is credit card one. So you can select the account first. Account is bank account, HDFC Bank, and card. You can enter the captions also. Next for UPI. So you can create multiple settlement mode like this. Okay. HDFC Bank, card cash, and other activity, other mode also net banking. So you can maintain maximum 5 modes. And last is for check. Select the bank here and check. So for payment, for receipt, we have 2 modes. You know that we can receive the money in cash and we can receive the money in bank. So for bank, we have multiple options. For cash, you can configure cash like this. So settlement mode, you can configure. The next option is specify settlement details separately. So you can enable this option if you want to specify settlement details separately in the miscellaneous data entry. Enforce full amount for adjustment. If you enable this option, then you have to enter the details in settlement window, then voucher will save. Specify default settlement mode. So amount will pick in this settlement mode. You can select first settlement or automatic. Next is post settlement data along with party data. So if you creating a bill in cash and at the time of voucher saving, you entered in bank, then you want to check this transaction in your ledger report and other report. So you can enable this option, post settlement data along with party data. And last is print invoice after saving. So after mention the details in, after specifying the detail in voucher settlement mode at the time of transaction, then invoice will print. So you can enable these options as per your requirement, as per your need. Save the setting. Next option for prompt for image saving. Okay, so if you want to maintain the image of voucher, you can enable this option and select the folder of voucher image. Okay, so image will pick from which folder. You can select the option. Now see the last option for point of sale. So this option I will show you later. Now I am showing you the transaction. Save the setting. Let me create a sales voucher. Add a sales voucher. Now see, this is the main series. So first you have to select the series for the transaction, enter the date, and voucher numbering. You can see this voucher number is coming automatically because we selected automatic and we configured the format. Select the sale type, party. After selection of party, because we configured, we enable the separate billing detail. That's why this window is coming, and we can specify the details. If you want to change, you can change also, and your change detail will print on sales invoice. Next, select the material center. See, this is the option field window. Okay, so if you want to maintain the extra information, you can enable the option field in voucher series configuration. This window appears for voucher option field, and you can specify the detail. Okay, so for option field, how can you enable? So in the voucher series configuration, you know that this is the option for voucher option field. The first option, number of option field. So how many fields you want to maintain? You can enter the characters, you can maintain the numbers here. Maximum 20 option fields you can maintain. After entering the numbers, a configure button appear, and you can configure the details like the heading, the title of the option field. Okay, save the setting and After saving, when you create a voucher, when you add a voucher, this window appears for option field and you can enter the information of the transaction like LPO number, LPO date, and you can print this details in invoice also. Next is transaction, create the transaction. See, MRP option is coming and the description option is also coming. Okay. See, discount and markup, both window are coming. And this is the window for settlement mode. So you can select the mode you are receiving the amount in which settlement mode, like through cash, through payment, through card, through UPI. Okay, like 0 and save. So you can configure the voucher series configuration like this. Let me show you the another option. So this option for option field printing, click on this button. Now see which field you want to print. You can select which field you want to see in report. You can select or deselect also. Master control, click on master control. In this window, you can restrict the master. Suppose if you want to apply on party, you can click on apply control and you can select allow or disallow. If you select disallow and select the account like All in One India Limited, now see, save the setting. If you select, so this master is restricted. Now we configured in voucher series configuration. And next is multiple series creation. If you want to create series in bulk, you can enter the name here and select the voucher, click on OK. Your series will create on bulk. Voucher series group management, this is for branch maintaining. Okay, and the last option for bulk voucher numbering. So click on this button, bulk voucher numbering. You can configure your voucher numbering as automatic, as manual, as not required in this particular window. Now I'm showing the option of POS. So click on voucher series configuration, the last option for enable advanced POS data entry, enable this option and click on configure advanced POS option. There are the multiple options you can see. Okay, so first, these are the data fields of the transaction. You can select the data fields like date. Okay, so date is fixed, as fixed. Sale type, you can select semi variable, party variable, material center variable, or semi variable you can select. Okay, so these three fields means fixed. If you select fixed, then cursor will not move on this field, this particular field, and you cannot change this particular field at the time of transaction. Next option is variable. So cursor, if you select variable, then cursor will move on this field and you can change the field, you can change the information. Third is semi variable. Semi variable means cursor will not move in this data field, but you can change the information of this particular data field. So you can select series, select the option field type as fixed, variable and semi variable as per your need. And these options for pick barcode. So if you want to pick the item from barcode scanning gun, you can specify Y here. Now item will not show directly and you can scan the item and item will pick automatically from barcode. Okay, and other field also as semi variable, variable you can specify. If you want to maintain the bill sundry, you can enable the option and select the bill sundry like discount. Okay, wheeled as variable, semi variable or fixed. Settlement detail is same. If you want to maintain the settlement detail in point of sale, you can enable this option and see other settings are same. Okay, click on save. Next option for input cash tender details, specify Y if you want to maintain the tender detail of cash. And this is for poll display, enable this option and connect the poll display in which port. You can enter the port here, your poll display will connect and customer can view your sales invoice at the time of transaction. And save the setting. Last option for set grid. So if you want to set the, if you want to increase the width or decrease the width of the columns heading, okay, so you can increase or decrease in inches. Save the setting and your point of sale is configured. Field type, yes, sorry, let's go. Save the setting. Save the setting. Your point of sale is configured now. Now see, voucher graphics are changed and you can see cursor will come automatically in party. You can select the party. Other details, select the item and cursor moving in next. Okay, so this is the point of sale and you can save the voucher fastly. Click on save. Other details, enter, yes, voucher is saved. So in point of sale you can save the bill fastly, and we have two type of voucher, standard and point of sale. You can configure these voucher as per your need. Now go back to PPT. What are the questions of related to voucher series configuration? Is first option is what is POS? So POS refer to point of sale. Point of sale is very used for sale counter where faster billing entry is required, like retail store, right? Branded outlet. Next is, can we configure the settlement detail option in basic edition? Yes, it is possible. This option is available in basic edition also. Next is, can we configure the point of sale configuration in basic edition? So answer is no, because point of sale feature is not available in basic edition. This feature is available in only standard and enterprise feature edition. Next option, can we change the captions of voucher? So answer is yes, you can change the caption of voucher with the help of shortcut key. So shortcut key is Control Shift plus Alt plus C. And the last question is, can we create a multiple series in vouchers? Answer is yes, it is possible. You can maintain the multiple series and you can configure the series configuration separately of each series. So if you have any queries, you can ask me now and you can contact to our help desk also.